we have a couple of places that we buy wine from on less than a hectare. So that's a hillside. And people often think it's sulfites, but honestly, there are a lot of industrial products that go into macro wine that isn't great. You know, one of the big ones right now is called Mega Purple, which is a ridiculous name.
Wait, what does it mean?
It's a concentrated fruit juice.
Break down the situation right here first, though. I'm going to act like I know how to properly taste a wine.
I'm headed to Black Mountain Winehouse in Gowanus, Brooklyn. I'm going to meet Brian, who's going to walk me through some wine tasting from wines all over the world, talk about how their selection is huge, how it's affordable, and why locals love it.
Hello, Brian.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
I'm so excited to be here, by the way.
Oh, well, you should be.
You know,
We have a
I'm
lot of great
always
wine
thirsty,
right now.
and I love some wine. So we are at Black Mountain Winehouse, which has become one of my local favorites. But I felt really lucky to find it. It's not that easy to find.
Yeah, 16 years we've been here, but every day I still have people coming in saying, you know, I walk by it every day and I always thought this was someone's house. You know?
And because it looks like a house from the outside.
No.
It feels such like a retreat. I feel like you're like in the bustling of the city. You walk inside these doors and it feels like you're just transported to like almost like a cabin.
Yeah,
like, I feel like
absolutely.
I'm sitting with you at your home right now. I mean, we have a fireplace. Like, come on.
Yeah, working wood fireplace. It's lit, you know, 7 months out of the year.
Do you have regulars? Like, is it a true local spot? Like, I treat it like I come all the time.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I know most of the people that come through here.
Yeah.
You know, it's a great first date spot, and it's always entertaining when we have folks come back for multiple first dates.
Oh, that's cute. You're part of their story.
Yeah.
I love
You know,
that.
we had a wedding here a couple weeks ago, so
What?
you know, from the beginning to the next beginning.
I mean,
this
that's some
place
good
has been
ideas there. So what is your favorite thing about working here? You've been here for around 3 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, about 3 years.
What
It's
is your
been
favorite
great.
thing?
Honestly, I love that it makes wine accessible. You know, I didn't get into wine until later in life, and one of the big frustrations I've always had with it is that sometimes you'll get a wine list and it's just baffling. You know, you have
Like,
no
where do you
idea where to
start?
go. Exactly, and it's incredibly expensive, and I think there's a kind of pretentiousness that
Yes.
has seeped all throughout the wine world that turns a lot of folks off.
I agree.
You know, what's great about this place is everything is by the glass. Some of it is really accessible and standard fare, but some of it's really unusual, which is great. You get to try something new and not feel guilty or worried about it because the price point is also pretty accessible.
Okay, so let's talk about the wine you offer here.
Absolutely.
It's kind of all over the place, right? We're talking about like regions and countries, selection-wise. So you have a little bit of everything?
Yeah, we have a little bit of everything. You know, we have wine that is pretty standard, things like your classic California Pinot Noir, but then we have some unusual ones. You know, we just brought this one in the other day. This is a Slovakian wine.
So I don't think I've ever had a wine from Slovakia.
Yeah, Slovakian wine is a really rich wine tradition in Slovakia. This is a natural wine. It's unfiltered, unfined.
I mean, okay, I'm excited about this.
Right?
Can we break down the situation right here first, though?
Mm,
I'm
this
going
is
to
a
act
great
like I
wine.
know how to properly taste a wine.
Well, it's great. This is an
So-
easy one to love. It's
Okay.
really, really fun. It's
We're going to twirl. We're going to smell. Ooh, it smells.
right, bright red fruit, good amount of tannin, but nothing overwhelming.
Oh, wow.
Really clean for a natural wine. A lot of times people have natural wines and they're turned off by them initially because they get this kind of mousy, barnyardy flavor to them. It's a Blaufränkisch grape, which is a German-sounding name,
Yes.
even though it's from Slovakia. And frankly, the grape itself is originally from Slovenia. So I have no idea how it got that name.
How do how do you even come about finding about wineries like this?
Well, we work with a lot of wine portfolios. We have to, because we have so many wines by the glass. And frankly, when you're trying to make wine accessible, when you're trying to democratize it, you really have to taste a lot of wine. Because, you know, if you can operate in that higher price point, there's a lot of leeway. There's a lot of great wine up there. But there's a lot of bad wine at the lower price point. So you have to filter all that out to find those really good gems. And some of them, oftentimes, are from underrepresented areas. You know, there's a lot of people that love, Burgundian French wine. But frankly, if you venture out into some regions you might be unfamiliar with, South America, South Africa, Eastern Europe, places like Slovenia, Hungary, Slovakia, Croatia, they make amazing wine.
Wow.
You know, and some of these are the oldest wine regions in the world, you know.
And people just think of, I feel like, Italy and France.
Exactly.
You know, and that's like the first things that come up. And so I feel like that's just always what people gravitate towards.
There's a lot of confusion around what natural wine is and what it isn't. I think a good way of thinking about it is thinking about it as low intervention wine. So when you're making natural wine, you're trying to add as few things as possible in order to get your finished product.
Okay.
So you're not filtering it, you're not fining it. Oftentimes that's the process where you're adding specific fining agents to get that crystal clear color. You're not adding additional sulfites, which is usually where people associate natural wine. The sulfites, on the one hand, allow it to be shelf stable, so you can age the wine. Natural wine you have to drink right away. You know, if it sits on the shelf for too long, it's alive in the bottle.
Wow.
So it's definitely
So there's
wine
no
for the now.
vintages in natural wine.
There's yearly vintages, but if you found a natural wine from 2010,
No.
it's not good anymore.
It's one with nature now.
Exactly. But you know, when the fun part about it is that you often get the kind of low intervention and biodynamic farming practices that we're looking for in all farm products.
Yes.
You know, a lot of folks talk about how when they're drinking natural wine, they feel better the next day. And I liken that not to the sulfites, but to the fact that you're buying a farm product that is made the right way. So many people, you know, they don't know what they're looking for. So, you know, you go into a place and you go, I would like a dry white. You know, that I've said it, I still say it.
Yes.
Or, you know, you say you want a dry red. Sometimes you don't really want that. You want something new. It's just dry has become the kind of like go-to buzzword for wine. Or I don't want the Chardonnay my mom used to drink.
I don't want that wine from the weddings that we were always at to have. Well, and that's what something I tried to pull myself back with, because I feel like there's certain words we've associated with wines like that, like the word Chardonnay, for instance. I was always like, oh, no. But I found out that I was just uneducated in Chardonnay.
I love Chardonnay.
That's what I mean. But I always thought about that oaky, that
Absolutely.
taste that was just not for me. But it's just because I haven't tried enough, and I also didn't have like an education behind it.
Don't get me wrong. There's some awful Chardonnays out there, and we still taste some awful Chardonnays.
Yes.
But I think Chardonnay is probably the most underrated grape out there.
Wow.
It's incredibly versatile, really delicious. The problem is, it's just that all of us started the same way with Chardonnay. We had that awful oaky California Chard that tasted like butter, and it turned us off for ages.
Yes, it's very true.
No fun. But now there's a whole world of great Chardonnay out there. Chablis, there's even German Chardonnay
Is
now.
Chablis Chardonnay?
Yeah.
I love Chablis.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was technically Chardonnay.
So the area of Chablis d'Ossy is all Chardonnay.
Oh, wow.
All they grow, and it's exceptional. It's the best in the world. But we have to drink it now because climate change is making it so that it might not be around in 10 years. This is one of my favorite grapes. It's called Gewürztraminer, which is fun to say and it's fun to drink.
Where is it from?
This is from France. It's from Languedoc, and it is delightful. Gewürz is one of my favorite grapes, but unfortunately, a lot of people don't drink it because it gets this kind of bad rap for being incredibly fruit forward. You know, people often associate it with sweet wine.
Yes.
Even though it's not. It's really just it's got a lot of strong flavor. You know, the biggest thing you'll notice that it's like lychees and white flowers.
Okay.
It's really, really prominent. But when you use the skin contact method, when you macerate it with the skins for a period of time, you get this wine that's really delightful because it's well balanced with a good amount of acidity. So you get this really bright lychee on the front end, but this tart tang as well.
So can we talk about the skin contact
Yeah, definitely.
situation? So what exactly are we talking about with that?
It sounds exactly like what it is.
Okay.
You get this fun orange wine because you allow the skins to sit with the must for a period of time, and then you remove them to continue fermentation.
So you leave them on as long as you create the color that you're looking for? Is
So
it just for the color?
It's just
or
for a
anything
period
else?
of time. It's generally used to not get the color so much as to get the flavors you're looking for.
You know, you guys, it's very intimate no matter how you have an outdoor space, you have a beautiful space here, and I also love that it is very relaxed. You have delicious food available as well. You know, it is somewhere you can hang for a while. It feels like a home, and I think you guys created a beautiful place. So
Well,
thanks for having me.
of course. Thanks for
Cheers.
coming.
I'm not leaving.
Good.